finally, it is about damn time that Billy Napier got fired from the Florida Gators program, dude. I think the last couple of years, man, he was kind of holding on to his job. Last year, he probably arguably should have been fired. They win a couple games they probably shouldn't have won. Now we're here, and they're finally moving on from him. Like, I guess Florida, how can Florida revitalize this program in a way? Because I feel like it's just kind of in the dust right now.
I think step one was getting rid of Billy Napier, bro. I think it's so funny that they fired him after a win. I don't think I've ever seen someone fire a coach after a win. That's just insane to me. Like, why didn't they get rid of him earlier? That's neither nor there. That's Florida incompetence for you. I think their best bet, and this is what Gators fans want from the ones I've talked to, is going after Lane Kiffin as hard as possible and trying to make him, but you got to give him the keys. This is what Josh Pate's been talking about. You cannot hire Lane Kiffin and then overrule like everything he wants to do. You got to let Lane Kiffin do his thing if they're able to get him. Now, why would he leave Ole Miss? I'm not really sure. Like, the only thing I could see is the better recruiting. The recruiting's better in Florida. The money's better. Like, not just his check, but, like, there's more money around the program. So I do think that Lane Kiffin is their best bet. But I'm not so sure that's going to happen. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I think another look is going up the road a little bit and looking at Alex Golish from USF. I think he has turned that program around. That offense is humming, and they obviously don't have the talent. No offense to the Bulls, bro. But they don't have the talent that Florida has. So with the actual talent, I think he's a good program builder and a good, if he brings his staff, I think the offense will be great.
Florida.
And he beat Florida in the swamp. So he already has a winning record in the swamp. I do think that's the guys I would look at, just if we're talking about head coach. The whole thing's got to be, we got to figure it out. Because they kind of look like I was concerned about Florida coming into the year. I actually thought Florida was going to be pretty good because of how they ended the year.
Yeah, I did too. I thought they've underperformed for, I guess everyone's thinking they're going to be better. And then I think Lagway didn't really take that leap that I think everyone was expecting.
He's looked worse. He's looked worse this year.
Right.
Yeah.
He's looked a lot worse. And I think that's shocked a lot of people, including me. And I don't even like the Gators, bro. But, like, Knowles all day. But it's like, at what point will Florida turn this thing around? Because, let's keep it real, bro. They haven't done nothing since Tim Tebow. Like, I'm telling you, bro. Like, it's been a long time since Florida's actually been relevant. They've kind of just been mid. And I think a lot of people are saying maybe they could be a okay SEC team. I was thinking maybe they could win 8 games, which is not one of the best teams in the SEC, but it's better than what they've been doing. But it's like Billy Napier was just a good coach and being mid. He was 22-23. That's mid.
It's the definition
That's
of mid.
mid. And it's not, and like Florida was snagging, 5-star recruits from Florida State, like, and they didn't do shit. So like, what was the whole purpose of that? Like, what was the whole point? But also I heard something stupid that Urban Meyer actually got a very shocking call from the Gators. I don't know. I don't think he's coming back to coach.
That'd be crazy.
Wouldn't that be something?
Might as well bring Steve Spurrier back at that point, bro. What are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about, dude? No, I
don't know
don't
the
know.
Lane Kiffin thing though. I don't. There's no way. I don't see that happening. I don't. Like, if you're Lane Kiffin, going to Florida, I think would be stupid. Like, I get the money part and everything like that, but like, Florida's not a good program.
The idea behind it is that there's a cap on Ole Miss, how good Ole Miss can be. Like, I think last year's team, he had a first-round quarterback, he had first-round defenders, a second-round receiver. Like, he had a great team last year. And I think that the idea is that was as good as it's ever going to get at Ole Miss, and that team didn't make the playoffs. So it's kind of like, well, if I go here, I'll have more money, better recruits, like more of a legacy kind of. Like he could have the greatest legacy in Ole Miss ever. He could be the greatest Ole Miss coach of all time. But I think at this point it's like, well, I want to put myself in the true like greats of the SEC by going to Florida, which he would definitely have the opportunity to do. Like I said, I don't foresee it. And I also think that there's going to be better jobs available than Florida. Florida fans, cover your ears. You don't want to hear this. It's looking like there's going to be some better jobs available. Now, I immediately think that the Penn State job is better. I know SEC, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You take your SEC bias somewhere else. I have the same bias, but I do think the Penn State has more money behind it, more winning recently, better recruiting as of late. I do think that besides the not getting the Florida pipeline, I think Penn State's a better job. I also think that the LSU job could become available very, very soon. LSU has a tough, tall task ahead of them. They're next to finish the year, but their next 2 games are Texas A&M and at Alabama. I think those are both must-win games for Brian Kelly to keep his job. And then you end the game with Oklahoma. There's a very real chance that LSU ends the season at 7-5. And for how talented their team is, that is just unacceptable in my opinion. And I think that we might see the end of Brian Kelly in LSU sooner than later. So at that point, if you're Lane Kiffin, if you're Matt Rule, Matt Campbell, Golish out of USF, if you're one of these great head coaches, why would I want to go to Florida when I could go to LSU, or I could go to Penn State, or I could go to, dare I say, Florida State, who looks like they're about to be off of a head coach? I don't think the Florida job is desirable as people think, but I also do think if it's the number 2 job available, it is like looking a little bit better, but I think there's about to be a lot of movement in college football these next couple weeks.
Oh, you said a lot there, bro.
I did.
Woo! Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm going to start with my favorite team, Florida State. Mike Norvell, get him out.
Get him out.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out, dude. I mean, we haven't won a conference game this season. If it wasn't for us beating Alabama, I think he would have been already gone.
Probably.
But since we won that game, I think it might have bought him the season to have this team to coach. Because we're not worse than they were last year. We won one more game than we did last year already. So by kind of, actual math, we've done better. Mike's done better this year than last year, okay? And I know this is a low ground we're at, Florida State fans. I get it. I know this. Imagine saying, hey, we won 2 games last year, but we're better this year already. We won 3. Yeah, dude, that's exactly what it is. But, I mean, I think Florida State needs somebody else. Mike had his shot. We went undefeated a couple of years ago. Jordan Travis got hurt, unfortunate. But then the program's kind of collapsed after that. Like, it seems like Florida State football has not really been the same since then, which is sad because I grew up, with Dalvin Cook, Jameis Winston, like guys like that. We were going undefeated. Like we went 2 years. We didn't lose a football game. Like imagine that. Imagine that as a fan. Like that's just wild. You go from that and then Willie Taggart, you fire him. But arguably, like he did not have as bad of a season as Mike Norvell's had. So at 2-10, like 3-5, like you really think not winning in your conference is going to be a pass? No, you got to get rid of him at some point. That's one guy. But who's going to want to go and coach at Florida State? I feel like to me, it's in the ACC and it's not really an attractive destination anymore. Even as a Florida State fan saying this, it's just not. I'm not going there. I'm going to the SEC. No way. I'm going to the Big Ten. Like, there's way better programs out there than Florida State.
Just let me real quick. Here's why I disagree with that part. Is that you could, I think that, I know you don't want to hear this, but I think Florida State could be a great stepping stone job to the SEC because why would I want to go to Florida who kind of needs a rebuild? Not really, but you know what I'm saying. When I could go to Florida State, do really good in the ACC, and then get me a good Big Ten job or then get me a good SEC job. after rebuilding, after fixing Florida State. Or Florida State is like a perennial blue blood program, even though right now they're not looking good. Yeah. But my point is that it would be, I hate to say it like this, but it would be, I feel like it'd be easier to fix Florida State than it would to fix Florida because of who Florida's got to play. Florida could be a better team than Florida State and have 3 or 4 more losses because they're in the SEC, not the ACC.
Right.
So that's the way I look at that. So I do think the Florida and Florida State job are kind of at the same point in my mind, because if you're looking at it from the outside in, if I don't think I can win at Florida, like I don't think I can turn Florida around quick enough, why would I want to go there? That's why I think Lane Kiffin's proven, like, I think he could do it. But a guy like Golish, like I know I said, yeah, that's who they should look at, but also if I'm him, I'd rather go to Florida State.
I agree with that. The conference is definitely easier. Like, I mean, we went undefeated in the ACC. Like, we still didn't make the playoff. That kind of puts it into perspective right there. But that was a good season. But after that, I just think the track record has just been so bad. I mean, because you thought we were going to turn it around with the win at Alabama, and then we didn't. But I want to just talk about, I think Brian Kelly, if they don't win this game versus Texas A&M this week, I think he's done, dude. Mm-hmm. I think he's done. I think there's no way you can keep him. I know you're talking about, they play Bama the next week. Like, Brian Kelly has been on the defensive side of every single press conference. Oh, don't worry about the offense. Oh, the defense is fine. Oh, this. Do you watch the games? Oh, we ran the ball. We had one good run, dude. We ran the ball well. Like, first of all, he needs to calm down. Second of all, like, the media is just trying to figure out what the problem is. Because obviously, there is a problem. Right. You guys are 5-2. And you said they're one of the most talented teams in college football. You're 5-2. 5-2.
Staring down the barrel at 5-4.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I think they will go 5-4. I think they lose to Texas A&M, and I think they lose to Bama. I don't think they beat any of those teams because of one reason. They don't have the firepower offensively. Because, I mean, Texas A&M, we've seen them in a shootout. They can win those. And then Alabama. I mean, they can score points. So, do you really think LSU is going to be able to score with those two teams? I don't.
LSU has lost to every ranked team they've played this year. Technically, Clemson was ranked when they beat them, but they're not now. So if you look at who's ranked at this moment in time, they have not beat a ranked team. And the 2 teams they did play that were ranked, they lost to, in Ole Miss and Vandy. Now, both those games are on the road. Texas A&M's at home at night. LSU, I got a feeling they can win that game. But if they don't, boy, if they don't. I mean, boy, if they don't. Wow, things are going to hit the fan real quick. They lost a transfer this week, cornerback, Ashton Stamps. Ashton Stamps hit the portal this week. So it's kind of already starting to unravel in LSU. So I just think that I think these next 2 games are must win, both of them. Not one, not two, both of them. They have to win both games. And I just don't necessarily think that's going to happen.
And it's not a coincidence. Everywhere Brian Kelly has been, he's done nothing. He hasn't won the big game.
He did take Notre Dame to the championship once. But he shouldn't have.
Did they win?
No, they got blown out.
Exactly.
They got dominated.
So like that's the closest. Exactly. That's the closest he has been, and he hasn't won.
Right. For sure.
He's supposedly the best coach in college football, but he hasn't won.
I thought it was stupid when LSU hired him to begin with. So, like, it was like, yeah, I guess it's an upgrade, I guess. But it was Brian Kelly, and he's always had.
But if you can't win at Notre Dame, do you really think you're going to win at LSU?
Well, that's a better program.
Notre Dame is a blue blood. Like, that is a school that has a track record like nobody else in college football. So, like, if you can't win there, what are we doing? And they had some good teams at Notre Dame. Some good teams. Like, man.
Well, Brian Kelly's had some good teams in LSU.
Exactly, and he still does nothing.
He had Jaden.
He still can't win.
Jaden Daniels.
He lost 3 games with Jaden Daniels. How?
Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors were on that team too. The defense was terrible, and now the defense is good and the offense is terrible. I don't. It's so scuffed, dude. I don't understand. But there's no reason for the offense to be terrible. That's the biggest problem. Is that the offense shouldn't be terrible. There's no real excuse. So I don't. That's why I think it's make or break for Brian Kelly this year. Right. This weekend, this Saturday.
These next couple weeks, bro. Like, they lose these 2 games or they lose this first game against Texas A&M. Yikes, dude. I don't know what happened to LSU. They just, after the Joe Burrow thing and after Coach O left, like, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not that dominant team.
No, but they still recruit like it. I mean, they still got the talent to be that. It just, you do know exactly what happened. It's the Brian Kelly effect, bro. Like, they lost a lot. The COVID year after Coach O, they lost a lot of guys. Jamar Chase set the season out. So did Derek Stingley. So, like, a lot of the talent from the 19 team left. Brian Kelly comes in. He brings in a lot of talent with him, which they were already still recruiting good. But it's Brian Kelly. So, we're going to lose the first game of the year. Like, it's tough, bro. It's tough. LSU's in a tough spot to an extent. If they fire BK and they get the right guy in there, again, why would Lane Kiffin not want to go to LSU over Florida? Beyond me.
Right.
I think they get that right.
To Florida doesn't make sense, but Lane Kiffin to LSU, yeah.
Could you imagine that? I know this is so hypothetical, but could you imagine Jaden Daniels, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors with Lane Kiffin as the coach, dude? They would have been nuts, dude. That team probably would have. It didn't matter if they couldn't play defense at that point. Like, it really wouldn't have mattered. It really would not have mattered, bro.
No, that would have been a crazy team.
Yeah.
And they were already really good, but like, I think they definitely. It's crazy because just talent-wise alone, LSU is like should be there. They should be there. They should be. But like, in my opinion, I think the reason they should fire Brian Kelly if they lose this game against Texas A&M is because you're going to be at 5-3. Mm-hmm. At that point, you have to win out to make the playoff, and I just don't think you're going to be able to win out.
I think at the point they're in right now, they have to win out and make the playoff. I guess maybe with a win over Texas A&M, maybe they can sneak in if they beat. But they'd have to beat. But they can't. I guess if they beat Texas A&M and play close with Alabama and win out, maybe. But I doubt it. I don't think they can afford to lose another game. And there's like no way they win out. So it'd be very, very improbable for them to win out at this point. Especially if they lose to Texas A&M. They're done. There's no way. A win over Alabama is not enough to put a 3-loss team into the playoffs with no good wins. Their only good wins if they win out after losing to Texas A&M would be Alabama and Oklahoma. That's not good enough to make the playoff, in my opinion.
I think Oklahoma could be. Maybe. Oklahoma's good.
Well, Oklahoma is good, but my point is that they have that would be their only ranked wins of the year. And they would have 3 losses at that point. So I just don't think that's enough. I just don't think that's enough to get in, yeah. Even with a win in Tuscaloosa, that's a big win, but still, like.
And you know how the committee is. They're looking at those, top 25 wins.
Right. There's just going to be.
You played in those games.
There's going to be teams with better resumes who are going to have better looks into the playoff.
Okay, hypothetically speaking, if it was like a 2-loss LSU team and a 2-loss Notre Dame team fighting for the last playoff spot, who gets in?
I'm not
I feel like that's
sure.
an interesting debate.
It is because Notre Dame would have the better losses, but LSU would have the better wins. Because Notre Dame, the only team they really played that they beat is USC. They don't really even play anyone else the rest of the year. So,
right.
And USC is like a fringe top 25 team. It's not like they're like they lost to the 2 good teams they played. So, I don't know.
By a combined 4 points, by the way.
Yeah. No. Those are good losses. So, probably Notre Dame. But then you're kind of screwing over LSU. Because if LSU beats Texas A&M and Alabama and wins out, and their 2 losses are to Vandy and Ole Miss, who will probably both be in the playoffs, or fringe playoff teams. I give the edge to LSU. I think the schedule's just better. I think their schedule's just harder than Notre Dame's.
So there could be maybe, are we thinking possibly 6 SEC teams in the playoff?
If Texas A&M wins out, they're in. Georgia needs to win out pretty much, and they're in. Alabama, similar. Ole Miss, I think, should be in, but they are prone to lose another game and not make it. Tennessee right now, I think, could make it if they win out. Vandy, and then potentially LSU, but I don't think LSU makes it. I don't think Tennessee makes it, and I honestly don't think. I'd have to look at the schedules, but Ole Miss always ends up losing some game they shouldn't lose. So I have a feeling that Ole Miss is going to drop another one. Let's see. Let's look at their schedule.
They play Oklahoma this week.
Mm-hmm. Ole Miss's schedule's easy as hell. I mean, if they can beat Oklahoma, they should be fine. Should be, but they still got to play Florida, and for some reason that's... And then the Egg Bowl, which always is a game. So let's look at Vandy. They got Missouri this week. Oh, Missouri too. Missouri too. If Missouri wins out, they're in. Vandy's got Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. So there's no way Tennessee and Vandy make it in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write off Tennessee. Let's look at Missouri.
One of those Big 12 teams is gonna get in, either Texas Tech or BYU.
Or both.
One of them. I think it'd be hard for both.
If both of them. Okay, if Texas A&M
because
goes...
they play each other.
Exactly. If Texas A&M goes 12-0 and then loses to BYU in the Big 12 championship, do you not put Texas Tech in at that point?
Well, Texas Tech can't go undefeated because they lost.
Arizona... Wait, hold up a second.
Arizona State right now is 5-2.
Okay, so they did lose...
With a win over Texas Tech.
Who did they lost to? Oh, they got blown out by Utah.
Yeah. But they also beat TCU, who was ranked at the time. So they technically have 2 wins that are in the top 25. And they have 1 top 10 win. That's what I'm saying.
And it's not that crazy for Arizona State to win out either. Their schedule's kind of... If they can beat Houston this week, it gets really easy after that.
That's why I'm saying, like, I feel like only one of those Big 12 teams gets in. So, like, that kind of leaves the SEC another spot, in my opinion, because I think the only ACC teams that get in,
think about how you answer this.
Unless Miami loses twice, Georgia Tech, if they can stay undefeated and their only loss is in the ACC championship, I think they're in.
Yeah, but I don't think they beat Georgia. So.
But if that's their only losses, if their only losses are to Georgia and Miami,
I don't think they get in.
They could, maybe.
They don't. The problem, yes, maybe. But
that's
like
very
you said,
similar to Notre Dame.
Like you said, their losses would be good, but their wins are not good at that point. And I don't think you talked about how much the committee loves top 25 wins. I think they'd put Notre Dame in a 10-2 Notre Dame in over an 11-2 Georgia Tech team because they didn't play anybody.
So you're thinking that Georgia Tech has to beat Georgia to get into the playoffs?
No, I think they have to beat Miami or Louisville or Virginia, whoever makes it. Right now, the ACC championship is Virginia versus Georgia Tech, not Miami. So.
Virginia is 6-1.
But they don't have a conference loss. But Virginia doesn't have a conference loss. Neither does Georgia Tech. Even though they lost to an ACC team, it didn't count. It's really weird, but it didn't count. So if you look at the ACC standings, those are the top 2 teams.
Yeah, Georgia Tech and Virginia.
Mm-hmm. So in theory, that's the ACC championship right now. SMU and SMU's also 3-0 in the ACC.
SMU's still a good football team.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a world where SMU makes the ACC championship.
And they made the playoff last year. So like,
if they win out, what does SMU's schedule look like? Let's look at this.
I don't think it's that hard.
At Miami this week, so there you go. And then Louisville.
If it
is that hard.
SMU wins that game.
Hey, fair enough. If SMU beats Miami and Louisville, Both
They are
in Dallas, by the way. Yeah, they're in because they'd be in the ACC. I mean, because it's just Cal and Boston College besides those two teams. Dude.
Because all they have to do is beat Wake Forest, and then take care of business against Boston College, who's 1-6, and then Louisville and Miami.
But I mean,
Yeah,
Virginia's got a cakewalk, bro. UNC, Cal, Wake Forest, Duke, Virginia Tech.
And Virginia has good wins. They beat
Yep.
Louisville and they beat Florida State when they were like 8th in the nation.
Yep.
So like
Georgia Tech's got Syracuse, at NC State, Boston College, Pittsburgh, and then Georgia. I actually think Georgia Tech's got. I don't think Georgia Tech makes the playoffs. I think the ACC championship's going to be.
if they don't beat Georgia, they're definitely not.
Well, I think they
If
can
they
win
don't
the
beat
ACC.
Georgia.
I think Georgia Tech can beat any team in the ACC. I do think they can beat Georgia too. I just don't think they will. I don't think they'll do all of that. But they definitely could. Georgia Tech's a legit squad this year, bro. But they're just not. They're just, let me not say it like that.
If you get into a shootout like it was last year, which I think Georgia Tech is very capable of holding their own against Georgia.
I think Georgia's
you
good in
never
that
know.
situation too this year. They're kind of
could-
built
but
for a
you could
shootout
flip-
this year.
You could flip a coin though,
Yep.
almost, and whoever is on the other side of it could win. I mean, because Georgia to me is one of those teams that I just don't know how good they really are. 'Cause I think they
Before
have
you
offense,
switch
but I
to
don't know about
Georgia,
everything else.
before you switch to Georgia, I want to say this about Georgia Tech. If they really need to not play Miami in the ACC championship game, which is it's likely, I would say. I think Virginia and SMU still got a hard path, but Virginia's got a cakewalk. If it's Georgia Tech and Virginia in the ACC championship game, I like Georgia Tech's chances in that. And all Georgia Tech's got to do is get through. They got to get through Syracuse, NC State, Boston College, and Pittsburgh. Which that's not easy, but it's not crazy either.
At least they're undefeated. Like Miami's already lost a game, so like I feel like there's more pressure on Miami to win out
Right.
than Georgia Tech.
Miami's got SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech. They got the same path as Georgia Tech, except for they also have SMU. So
And Miami could lose one of those.
I
games,
definitely think so.
maybe.
So there's a good chance Miami doesn't. Dude, that's insane. Miami's been a top. They were number 2 last week, and now we're talking like, I don't know if Miami makes the playoffs, dude, because I don't think.
It's gonna be a mess.
I don't
It's gonna
think
be
they
a
beat
mess.
SMU. I mean, they have to beat SMU. They literally have to. They have to beat SMU. Then they got Syracuse and NC State at home, and then on the road, Virginia Tech, on the road, Pittsburgh, and then on the road for the ACC championship if they make it that far. So they end the season with 3 straight road games.
Yeah. And then does a team in the American get in? Like that's what I'm.
Let's look at the American. I mean, maybe Navy. Right now, Navy 6-0. South Florida could make it. Tulane 6-1.
But I don't think Navy's gonna beat Notre Dame.
Ooh.
If Navy beats Notre Dame in South Florida, but
There's always
I don't know,
one
but-
group of 5 team, and right now, that's South Florida.
North Texas is a tough game. They're good.
Right now, that's Florida or South Florida, who doesn't play North. They beat North Texas last week or 2 weeks ago. So South Florida is kind of good. Their hardest game left is Navy. I think South Florida
Navy-
makes the playoffs.
Yeah, Navy play. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's South Florida.
No, Navy plays North Texas in 2 weeks.
It's too bad Tulane doesn't play USF. That'd be a good game. Well, I guess there'll be the American Championship. That'll probably be it. It'll probably be Tulane and South Florida, both at 11-1, or maybe Navy. I think South Florida beats Navy though.
Well, you've got in the American, you have North Texas is 6-1 in the conference.
Navy still
Memphis
plays
is
Notre
6-1,
Dame.
Tulane 6-1, USF 6-1,
Right.
Navy 6-0.
Navy plays North Texas, Notre Dame, South Florida, and Memphis, and then Army. I think they definitely drop 2 of those games. So
But Navy has a better path if they can win at least one of those.
I think it's gonna be South Florida and Tulane. I think that's your American, and whoever wins that game will be the group of 5 team in the playoffs. That's what I'm looking at. That's the way I see it.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
So that's 1 spot down. We got our ACC champion looking like it's going to be Georgia Tech or Virginia at this point, which is crazy. Probably, oh wow, Cincinnati's 4-0 in the Big 12. What does Cincinnati's path look like?
The Big 12 is such an interesting conference, bro. Because like you got BYU, Texas Tech, Cincinnati.
I don't think Cincinnati wins out.
Arizona State.
I don't think Cincinnati wins out though.
But that's 4 teams right there that if they have a good stretch at the end of the season.
I mean, Houston's 6-1.
I don't know. Houston is kind of probably the worst out of those teams, but Houston's still decent.
I mean, they haven't really beaten anybody. Everyone they play is kind of mid, yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing about this committee, dude. Is like this year they got it. They got to get it right,
dude. But Houston has it, bro. Houston has the easiest path in the Big 12, bro. If they beat Arizona State, that's this week. After that, West Virginia, UCF, TCU, Baylor. They could win all those games. If they beat Arizona State's the one I don't think they win. But if they win the rest of those, they'd be undefeated. I mean, they'd be undefeated in the Big 12. They'd be in the Big 12 championship.
And winning the Big 12 championship is a big deal.
But I don't think they're going to win the Big 12. I don't think they're better than BYU, Cincy, Arizona State, or Texas Tech.
I don't either.
But in theory, they have a really easy path to get there. They just got to beat Arizona State. Because Texas Tech still got BYU and K-State. They got a pretty easy path too, but that BYU game's going to be tough. BYU's got Cincy and Texas Tech. I don't think they win both those games.
That's why I love college football so much, is because you get stuff like this. Is like the playoff is not even going to be decided for a couple months, but you're already kind of trying to play these scenarios out in your head. And I bet you the committee's doing the exact same thing right now. Because like you have to be thinking about this kind of stuff. Like honestly, like I'm not gonna lie, dude, I would hate to be on that committee because there's so much pressure to like get the rankings right. Because like last year it was like there's a bunch of hubbub going around about the seeding and crap. I think they fixed that now. I think it'll be better this year, and I think, but man, that's the problem. The SEC's just got so many good teams, and they just beat up on each other all year. So you're gonna have a SEC team with 2 losses. Get in.
There's 10 teams I count in the SEC that I think could make the playoffs. Now, obviously, they won't all make the playoffs, right? But the way I'm looking at it, there's 10 teams here that could make it, and that's incredible. That's insane. Because when I go to the Big Ten, it does not look like that. So I don't want to hear about Big Ten SEC because that's nonsense. The Big Ten has about maybe 4 teams I think can make it, but probably more like 3.
Well, the Big Ten's got top 2 teams in the country. They got Ohio State and Indiana. 1 and 2.
And then Oregon's good. And who's that fourth? Who's 4th in the Big Ten? Northwestern is 4th in the Big Ten right now.
Are you shitting
and
me?
if we go to the SEC, the 4th team in the SEC is Ole Miss. Do we think that Northwestern on a neutral field could beat Ole Miss? Are we being real with ourselves? How about we go to the 5th place team? Do we think Northwestern could beat Texas?
Not.
No. Do we think Northwestern could beat Missouri? No. Do we think?
I don't know. Actually,
no.
the Texas thing, maybe.
Maybe Texas.
They did look bad against Kentucky.
I highly doubt it.
They did barely beat
Do
Kentucky.
we think
like
Northwestern could beat Oklahoma? Do we think Northwestern could beat Vanderbilt?
No.
Do we think Northwestern could beat LSU?
No.
Do we think Northwestern could beat Tennessee?
No.
Okay, so that's the 10th place team in the SEC. Do we think Northwestern can beat Florida?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Maybe.
Do we think Northwestern can beat South Carolina?
No.
Do we think Northwestern can beat Mississippi State?
Maybe.
Do we think Northwestern can beat Arkansas? That one's kind of a toss-up.
Maybe.
Do we think Northwestern can beat Auburn? I say hell no. I think Auburn's a good squad. That's another job we didn't mention that's probably going to be available soon. I think Auburn's going to fire their coach too. and then Kentucky. So we said Northwestern maybe can beat 5 teams in the entire SEC, and that is the 4th best team in the Big Ten. I never, ever want to hear about the Big Ten being better than the SEC. I don't care if they're top heavy, their best teams are better than the best team in the SEC, that's fine. Maybe. Maybe. But, we're talking about depth here, bro.
If you're comparing top to top, yeah. But, like, as an overall conference and the depth of the conference, no.
You would take Ohio State and Indiana over Texas A&M and Alabama.
Right now, yes.
I think that's close. I think that's
Right
really
now,
close. But if we go, okay, we'll throw Oregon and Georgia in there too. See, those are like 6 of the best teams in college football. So like, I get it. The Big Ten is good, but it's not as good as the SEC. And I'll never until I see otherwise. Until Northwestern is a good team, I'm not taking that.
The best conference in college football is the SEC. It's not even close. If you don't think so, you don't know.
By a country mile. I think the best teams in the Big Ten are good and potentially better than the best teams in the SEC. But it's not even close, dude. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not.
Do you think Purdue beats Kentucky on a neutral side?
No.
Well, Kentucky's the worst team in the SEC, and Purdue is not even the worst team, but Wisconsin's the worst team.
Yeah, but I don't think Purdue hasn't won a Big Ten.
That's my point, and I know you agree with me, but I'm about tired of hearing these Big Ten fans talk about how the SEC sucks when it just clearly doesn't. The SEC has 10 ranked teams in the top 25.
Why don't we put some teams in the Big Ten and see how they would do in the SEC?
Yeah, let's put Northwestern in the SEC.
Yeah, they would not win a game.
They might. They play Kentucky. if they got to play Kentucky.
And then maybe if they catch Texas on a bad night.
What is Kentucky's schedule? Who have they played?
Well, they played Texas last week. They barely lost that game. Goodness, man. I really thought Texas was going to lose that game. I really did.
Kentucky lost by 1 possession to Texas and Ole Miss. So now, let's rephrase our question again. Do we think Northwestern would have been in 1 possession with Texas or Ole Miss? Maybe, because
Ole Miss.
Hold up.
No.
Maybe though, because Ole Miss just the week before they played Georgia, they beat Washington State by 3. So like Ole Miss, these SEC teams have bad weeks. So maybe if they caught them on a bad week, they could get it within 1 possession of Ole Miss. Yippee! Our 4th best team is within 1 possession of Ole Miss. Yay! So stupid, dude. God dang, dude. I'm fed up with Big Ten fans, bro. I cannot do it with the Big Ten fans, bro. And I'm not SEC fans suck too, but at least they got something to, they got some proof. The proof is in the pudding.
They got something to hang their hat on. Like
the SEC's 10th best team best team is 5-2. So, one more time, I know we've already fucking beat this into the ground, but I just want to see it one more time.
Yeah.
The Big Ten's 10th best team is how about this? 5-2. Okay, hold up now.
Are you talking about Illinois?
It is Illinois. Illinois is pretty good.
They were good until Indiana beat the lights out of them.
There's obviously good teams in the Big Ten. Like
there is.
But UCLA is better than Illinois. Dude. I don't know, bro. We're talking about Minnesota and UCLA and Iowa. I don't know. Like I got respect for Washington and Nebraska and Illinois. Like they're good teams.
Oh my God. If we start, oh my God, I want to work.
You doing what?
I want to work my way down into this. Let's start at Iowa. Okay, so Iowa's what place? What place is Iowa in the Big Ten?
6th.
Okay, so 6th place team in the Big Ten compared to the 6th place team in the SEC.
Missouri.
You got, and Missouri's better than Iowa. And then you've got Oklahoma, 6th place, Michigan, 6th place. We've already seen how that game went.
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt.
Very good.
UCLA.
I don't.
Or
not
Minnesota.
even. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Vandy would beat almost any team in the Big Ten. I think Vandy would beat Oregon on a neutral site. I personally believe that. So.
And the only reason Vandy's not higher is because they only have 2 wins.
Because they lost to Alabama.
Yeah, and if they were 3-0, they'd be right below Alabama probably in the standings. So 3-0 undefeated.
Well, if they were to beat Alabama, they would be second. They'd be right behind Texas A&M.
Alabama's 4. I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right because they'd be
3-1.
Like,
They'd both be Vandy be 3-0 and they'd be 3-1.
Yeah, the point is the Big Ten doesn't even touch.
No, the Big Ten sucks, dude. It doesn't suck.
1,
The
2,
Big
3,
Ten's
4, 5.
obviously the second best conference, but a lot of that's because they've been stealing teams from the Pac-12 and the Big 12 for a long time now. They take the best teams from those conferences, and they do whatever. And you can say, the
'cause
SEC does the same, but
the old Big Ten doesn't even touch the SEC. The old Big Ten doesn't even touch the SEC.
I mean, if you really want to be like that, if we go old, we take Texas A&M and Texas and Oklahoma and Missouri out of the SEC. You got Alabama,
but the
Ole
SEC 's
Miss,
still better.
Georgia, Vandy, LSU, Tennessee, and that's old.
There's a bunch of other
I bet a lot of
conferences
y'all
that
didn't
get
even know
into it.
Texas A&M wasn't in the SEC before, dude.
And Texas was not in the SEC either. So
Yeah, Missouri. If we go really old, South Carolina wasn't in the SEC, but that was in the 90s. I wasn't alive for that. But.
no.
Anyways, we're just going off now. I had to get that off my chest. That one was for you, Gabe.